I'd just be sitting at home with none of that. These are the Swiss Alps. This is also my radio voice. It's all about getting out. It was minus 20 here. And as you can see, the Mini 2 froze a little. You can see it's a little bit soft, but I got the shot. I went out and I got the shot. And I even captured the moon. How stunning is that? So as you can see, flying the Mini 2 at magic hour at night, it looks absolutely stunning. But in that footage right there, it was minus 20. This little guy is rated to 0 degrees Celsius. That was minus 20 Celsius. It was absolutely freezing. My thumbs frozen. I really do like flying the Mini 2 in cold temperatures, in snow, and I feel a lot more confident flying this drone than the 2 Pro. I think it's just because of the design. The 2 Pro has got so many little details, sensors, the battery's on top, with the battery connections at the bottom there, so water going down, rain, snow melting. It kind of doesn't put me at ease with this drone. It's a monster, don't get me wrong, and it's fantastic in high winds. It's got a lot of power, but it's like a brand new car. There's so much that could go wrong with it. Whereas the Mini 2 is just a hollow shell. I mean, it's basically empty. Look at that. There's nothing inside. It's empty. The snow falls on top of it, and it kind of just drops down. You've got the air ducts at the bottom. There's really not much that can go wrong with it. The sensors are below it. It's, it worked absolutely fine. I flew about 20 batteries, 20 packs in the last week in very strong snow at minus 4, and then in very, very cold temperatures at minus 20. And I've got to tell you, it performed perfectly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you a few tips for flying in the cold. The first one, and the most important thing, is that it's risky. It is very risky. Do not fly above people. Do not fly above motorways. Just, if you want to fly your drone in cold conditions, in snow, where any shit can go down, make sure you're doing it somewhere where all you're going to do is damage your drone, and that's it. And I get so many questions from people, oh, is it going to melt the water, snow? And I'm here to get the shot. I'm here to get the shot. This is a tool for getting the shot. If I scratch it, if it falls, fine. Okay, I'm there to get the shot. That is the most important thing for me. Back to the drone. Batteries. Batteries, so care before flying. Batteries, very, very important. Your batteries have to be warm. These are LiPo batteries in here, which do not perform well in the cold. They just don't. They have a chemical reaction that needs warmth, above 15 degrees, I think, for it to work properly. So flying with a cold battery is a big no-no. So if you're out there, you've got a backpack, your battery's in the backpack, you're walking in the snow for an hour, your battery's gonna be frozen. Put your battery down your pants, I don't know, get some hand warmers. Hand warmers, by the way, get very hot, so do not put them in direct contact with your batteries. Where are my batteries? If you've got your batteries, get some kind of towel, get something around it, and put the hand warmers away from them. Do not put them in direct contact with your batteries. Stick them down your pants. You've probably got it pretty warm down your pants. If you're in a car, put them in the car next to you. Get yourself a charging cable to the cigarette lighter thing and charge them up. Make sure they're nice and warm next to you. So when you do go out and it's minus 20, those things are warmed up and ready. When you're gonna get your drone in the air, always calibrate it, always calibrate it. I religiously calibrate my drone, my compass, when I'm about to fly. So I'll do a whole spinning thing and make sure the compass is fine. Next thing I do is I will set my return to home. Let it hover in the air for a minute, because your battery should be about 20 degrees Celsius for it to be safe. Let it hover in a minute. It should rise in warmth, the battery. You can check it. I didn't do that every time. I gotta be honest with you. I just put it in and I just zoomed out. But make sure your battery's warm. Make sure you set return to home. Because if you don't, and that thing starts flying back to you, because you've lost connection in the snow, behind the trees, and you haven't set your return to home, and it's at what, 20 meters, it's gonna go straight into a tree. Set your return to home every single time you fly. It's got no sensors, it's gonna crash. It's basically gonna crash. So keep your battery warm before you put it in, let it hover for a minute, set your return to home, before all that, calibrate it, and then off you go. Your battery will not last 30 minutes, it won't, especially in -20 temperature. The battery might get 15 minutes. I think I might have got 20 minutes out of it, which is incredible. So beware, if your battery shows that it's getting low, get back home. Even at 40%, just start flying back home. At very cold temperatures, your battery can just go, you know what, screw it, and poof, your drone's gonna fall out of the air and just, it's gonna break or hit something. So make sure you take heed of every single warning your Mavic Mini 2, or any drone for that matter, gives you. If it says it's cold, if it says it wants to return to home, if it says it's having problems, get it back home as soon as possible. You don't want to risk destroying your drone or someone's property or losing it in the water. So those are things that are very, very important. What else did I write? Oh yeah, one of my experiences flying recently is frozen fog. Let me show you some material of what that actually looks like. Flying through frozen fog. It's not something I'd recommend you do, but when you're through, when you've got past that milky cotton bud, the view can sometimes be breathtaking. Make sure you're ready though. Your battery is going to drop very quickly. You're not going to have a full battery's worth. So remember to get in as many cool backwards, sweeping, sideways, downwards shots as possible. When you're flying through that cuddly cloud of marshmallow fog, which is frozen, make sure you do it quickly. Your props are going to freeze and your visibility is going to be next to zero. So to get that shot, fly through that fog at warp speed. Just be aware you can't see shit. Now, you got to ask yourself, is it worth it for the shot? I think so. So that was frozen fog. Whew. My drone attempted to land, auto-land, about 4 times because the frozen fog was playing tricks on the sensors. And so I just had like beep, beep, beep landing, and I'm like, what the Frozen fog is nasty. Check out this picture. That is what the blades looked like, the propellers, when I landed. They had ice all over them. So make sure you watch out for frozen fog. It can play tricks on your drone. It will freeze up the propellers, which was fine. I still flew for about 10 minutes. But just beware, make sure you're aware all the time. This is very risky stuff. It's recommended to fly to 0 degrees. That was -20. Just beware, okay? Next thing, safety. Yes, safety. I fly thumbs only. Where is it? I fly thumbs only. And my fingers were okay. My thumbs were frozen. I could not feel them, but I was still trying to do my, smooth ass maneuvers. If you want, you can fly in gloves. For example, I have the North Face gloves that have the little, where is it? The thumb thing. That's not these ones, it's the other ones. But they have like the little finger thing that you can actually touch the phone. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I can't feel the movements. I can't tap the foam properly. So I fly without gloves. You can get fingerless ones. They might keep your hands a little bit warmer. If you want, you can fly with something like this. Yes, they actually make things like this. So you kind of stick in one hand, you stick in the other hand, and you're flying, you know? It's like this kind of thing. It's got the kind of woolly stuff in it, and you know, you're away if the wind or anything. It could work. It could work. I tried it once. It does keep your hands warmer, and you can stick an iPad in there. As it comes to visibility, flying on this thing with snow coming down and everything is really, really bad. So I do have another trick up my sleeve, and that is this contraption. You do need to buy yourself a longer cable, but this basically does something like this. Get it in there, and boom. That is how that works. So you have a nice big view on your DJI Fly app. You don't need a SIM card in it for it to work, so it works via the GPS. And that is basically what it looks like. This is from PGYTech, and it's pretty cool. It just means that I can see a much bigger, better, brighter picture. And it is very, very, very simple to use, because this is basically the coolest thing that I probably have bought recently. It looks like this. Have a look at that. It looks like this. And you basically unscrew the back, pull out the little wheel, screw it back in. So this is perfect for traveling. Push this back, slide it in, and you're packed. Awesome for a bigger picture, because sometimes I had a hard time flying on this. I did take that, but I forgot my iPad. Another thing when it comes to safety, a luminous vest could help if you get into some difficult situations in the snow, in the bad weather. Think about that. Just having it, you know, it's small, you can put it in your bag, but it could come in handy and save your ass. And one more thing that really, really did help me flying in the snow was this. It's a fold-out landing mat. There you go. Simple. It's really easy to just pack in your bag and you're away. Yeah, it's from PGYTech as well. They basically sent me a whole load of stuff and I used it, and I do have a landing mat, but it's one of those kind of pop-out ones which flies around everywhere. This one's got a bit of weight, so I kind of just sat on the ground and I felt a lot better. Last thing I do want to talk about is, oh yeah, I probably haven't shown you this. Pop, 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 pop. Check that out. Look how tall that is now. Landing gear. Landing gear. I bet you I'm going to get so many thumbs down because this looks like an advert. It really isn't. Landing gear actually comes in handy. It's also by PGYTech. This is basically a Pip Your Drone Out by PGYTech film, right? The last and most important thing after flying your drone and getting it through the snow, getting it through all that muck, the cold, is when you land it, hopefully you do land it, aftercare. So we basically got in the car, I took out the battery, warmed it up a little, you know. I put the drone on the car windscreen heater. That was so important because it was frozen, there was ice on it, there was ice on the blades, there was, you know, it was wet. Put it on there and we basically blasted that thing so it was warm. We must have done that, I don't know, 20 times during the few days that we were there, and after about 20 minutes, half an hour, we'd get to our next place, take out the drone, put in a warm battery, and fly away. Those are basically, I say basically a lot, right? My tips for flying a Mavic Mini 2. Do I say Mavic? Ignore that. A Mini 2 in freezing cold temperatures. I really am glad that a lot of you liked my previous film about flying in the snow. As I said, it's very risky. Do it at your own risk. It could void your DJI Care or your warranty guarantee. But like I said, I'm about getting the shot. That's important for me. And if I wouldn't have gone out there and got the shot, I wouldn't have those beautiful photos. I wouldn't have that beautiful footage. I'd just be sitting at home. with none of that. Makes you think, huh? Anyway, if you have any questions at all about flying your Mini 2 or any other drone for that, in the freezing cold, in the snow, drop in the comments below. I'll make sure to get back to you. If you did like my film and it helped you out, give me a thumbs up. That really does help me. And if you haven't subscribed, 20,000K. That's amazing. You guys, be safe, be careful. The drone tells you want to land that thing straight away. Whew. Here's a little bit more footage from the Swiss Alps. The ferocious wind under this viaduct in this valley was the first time my Mini 2 couldn't handle it, hence the warp stabilizer. But here, look at him go. This was minus 18, this was minus 20, this was freezing cold. I couldn't feel my thumbs right here. We lost the drone for a second. It was a crazy ride, but it was worth getting out. It was worth freezing my thumbs off to get all this footage, to catch that beautiful train. It was worth every single second of freezing my ass off. I say, go out, get the shot, be considerate, be careful, but get the shot. It's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it.